When I was a teacher, there was a phenomenon that always fascinated me. I was a high school teacher, and so in high school, the students are the ones who go from class to class or from teacher to teacher. And early on, I noticed that the same group of students act differently or act in a different way in every classroom or with every teacher. With some teachers, they are extremely well behaved and they are attentive and they are on track. With other teachers, they're just all over the place and they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that really fascinated me. And early on, I realized that the behavior of the students is not in the hands of the students themselves, but in the hands of the teacher. It's the teacher who controls the environment of the classroom. It's the teacher who is the captain of the ship that is the classroom. And so a successful teacher is going to be able to positively control the behavior of the students in their classroom. Of course, there's, books and books written about this, but today I'm just going to give you 3 pieces of advice to always keep in the back of your head while you're inside of the classroom or while you're dealing with your students. These are the things that helped me out and helped me achieve really good classroom management in my day. And so the first piece of advice is to be authentic. To be authentic is to be yourself. Sometimes I see teachers who have this teacher mask on. It's a teacher who is overly formal, a teacher who is overly proper, a teacher who is overly professional. And I see that and I'm like, that's not really you, right? If I see you outside of the classroom or outside of school, I'm pretty sure that's not the person I would see or not the person I'd have a conversation with. And so why are you doing that? Why are you putting on that mask inside your classroom with your students? Students are smarter than you think. Students have a God-given ability to see through your mask. It's a radar or a sensor. And they know who's being authentic and they know who's not being authentic. They know who's being real. I was always real in my classroom, right? I cracked jokes. I was sarcastic. I was the same guy. If you see me outside of school and inside the classroom, I was the same guy. And students appreciate that. And students respect the teachers who are real with them, who are authentic to them. Because being inauthentic in itself is a type of dishonesty, isn't it? But being real, being authentic, is being honest with the students. Yes, this is who I am. This is the real me. And I hope you like it. And they will like it, and they do like it because they like honesty. They like when you're being honest with them. And so when you're in the classroom with your students, yes, of course, there are boundaries that you're supposed to put, but be yourself while putting them. Be authentic. The second piece of advice, speaking of boundaries, is to be firm. I see a lot of teachers who want to win points with their students, right? They want their students to like them. And so they're too nice with their students, right? They give them whatever they want and they do whatever they ask. If a student wants to eat in class, sure, go ahead. If a student wants to go to the bathroom, 6 times in a period, yeah, for sure. Yeah, why not, right? Because I want you to like me, so I'm going to say yes to everything. And I see that and I always shake my head. I'm like, that is the opposite of what you're supposed to do. If you're too nice with the students, again, going back to my earlier point, students are smart. They know. If you're trying too hard, they know. If they want them to like you, they know. And not only is this not authentic, but they are going to take full advantage of that. And they're going to ask for everything all the time because they know that you are going to be like, sure, I want you to like me, so I'm going to break a rule. Sure, I want you to like me, so you can go to the bathroom 19 times. Right? You can do whatever you want. And that does not build respect between you and the students. If you're too nice to them, if you're doing whatever they want, on the contrary, they are going to not respect you because you're not firm enough with them. You're not authentic with them. I was always known as the hard ass in school, right? My students always knew not to cross me and not to ask for something that they're not supposed to ask for because it's always going to say no. I'm firm. If it's something you're not supposed to be doing, you're not going to do it. And don't even ask me for it. I was a little bit extreme, but in my classroom, one of my expectations was that when you're in my classroom, no one is going to the bathroom. If you go to the bathroom, it means you're going to miss something important. And so I don't want you to miss something important. And so no one goes to the bathroom. Of course, early on in the year, everyone's like, oh, I want to go to the bathroom. Why are you doing this? This is not fair. You're such a monster. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. I'm a monster, but we got work to do. And then guess what? A couple of weeks into the year, no one asks for the bathroom. And if somebody does, everybody just looks at them. They're like, really? What are you thinking? And the ironic thing is, even though I was one of the firmest teachers in my school, I was also one of the favorites for my students, consistently, even though I was one of the firmest. And so this goes back to being authentic. I was always myself, right? I don't want anybody to, I'm not making any extra efforts for you to like me. I'm not going to break the rules for you. My expectations are very clear. I'm not going to go against them so that you can like me. On the contrary. And that is how they respect you. And from that respect, that's how they're going to like you. Again, because they appreciate your authenticity and they appreciate that you're being true to your word and true to your expectations. And my third piece of advice today is to be consistent. And this, of course, goes hand in hand with being firm. When you're developing a relationship with your students, when you're developing an environment in your classroom, the worst thing to do is to flip-flop on your expectations. Your expectations from the beginning of the year are clear. I expect you to do this, and I expect you not to do this. And those expectations become the law of your little mini community inside your classroom. If you're making exceptions every day, if today you're saying no to this, but the next day you're saying yes to it, what kind of message are you sending to your students? Not only are you being not true to your expectations, but you're being confusing, right? Now the students don't know what to expect because you don't even know what your expectations are. If today you're saying no to the bathroom, but the next day you're saying yes to the bathroom, even though your expectation is to say no to the bathroom, well, the following day, what do you expect them to think? They're going to ask for the bathroom. And if you say no, well, then you become the monster because, well, you said yes yesterday, or you said yes to the other guy. Why not me? And so be consistent with your firmness. Be consistent with your expectations. Be consistent with what you want the students to do or not do. And that is how you build a positive learning environment where the students know your expectations and your students respect you for having clear expectations and not flip-flopping on them every day. And trust me, if you follow these 3 pieces of advice, you're going to see your students more well-behaved in the classroom. You will have a better relationship with your students. And of course, because of that, more learning will take place in the classroom.